Thank you all for coming to our second installment of the How to Professional Development series. Today we're going to have Anna talk to us about how to present a scientific poster. So this is part 2 in our scientific poster series. If you did not see part 1, we have those slides online. So let me know and then I can send them to you. So Anna is in Dr. David Arnold's lab. She is experienced at poster presenting. You'll see some of her, not pictures that she took, but pictures of SFN this year where she presented. She's done other smaller conferences. So thank you so much.
Thanks to you. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another session of our How To series. Today we are going to talk about how to present a scientific poster. So, as you know, professional development series have been designed to help us through our career. And so far, we had a session, as Charlene was mentioning, we had a session about designing a scientific poster. Today, we're going to talk through some additional information and general tips in order to have an effective poster presentation. And we have our NextGen Pathways Symposium coming up in a couple of weeks, and hopefully this information will be good for us to prepare better for our symposium. All right, so before starting general tips and additional info, I want to start with the definition of a scientific poster. So what is a scientific poster? Poster is a key component in communicating our science, and it is a unique tool that can help us to share our data and our research with other members of scientific community. So it has a unique feature. It is different from a paper. It is different from an oral presentation. A poster is a summary, it's a concise summary actually of our key finding, and we want to share this concise summary of our finding with others. And there are different ways of sharing our science. We can publish a paper, or we can share science with our collaborators, but we want to present poster in order to generate discussion. Generating discussion is very important. There are some benefits for the presenter because presenter can share their research with wider community, academic community, and then when we are presenting our data, we actually interact directly with individuals and we can get feedback. Usually scientists present their preliminary data or their pilot projects, and this is a great occasion that they can have a one-on-one interaction with others, and it can help us to recognize if there is any experimental gap in our science, or we can get feedback, direct feedback from people who are interested in our work. So it's a great opportunity to have networking, and people who are early in their career, it's very poster presentation, very important for them to develop presentation and communication skills. For people who attend to symposium, it's important because they can get the latest research available, they can engage and talk directly to people who are actually performing the research that they are interested in. And again, this is a networking opportunity for both. So the very first step to have a good poster presentation is to have a well-designed poster. And our last session was about that, and if you need any further information, please feel free to contact Charlene or watch the YouTube link and video. But generally, going on, the very first thing when we think about the public speaking that comes to our mind is fear. It's so natural, and the majority of us face with fear of public speaking when we think about a large symposium with many new people that we have never met. So knowing that it's completely natural and everybody faced with it, and also some extra general tips that can help us to overcome with our fears can help us to give a better presentation. The first thing is knowing our topic. So the more we know our topic, and whether it's general information, background information, or technical information, approaches that we use, or our main hypothesis, the more we know, we are confident that we can communicate our science better to our audiences, and also it's less possible that we get off the track or we make a mistake. But even if we make a mistake, then we can come back easily and correct it. And then getting organized. Getting organized meaning that it's important to plan ahead, to have a less stressful day, and also to organize tools of what to say. It's usually recommended for people to have a written outline. So before our presentation, we just go over to our outline and read it so we are confident what general content we are going through it. And then challenge our specific worries, meaning that sometimes when we are afraid of something, like public speaking, in our mind, we make the worst case scenario, which is in reality is not true. So better to identify our worries and try to face with it. And then sometimes during a public talk, we get to a point that we have a moment of silence. And we are afraid of it because if it's a moment, we think that we've been silent forever, and in reality, it's not true. And I'm sure our audiences won't mind if they take a moment or even longer to listen to us, to wait what we were saying about our research. And then the very last, but very important one is practicing. Practicing and practicing. There is nothing, no magic behind any good presentation, but practicing makes perfect. So the amount and number of practicing depends on individuals, different people have different weaknesses and strengths. So we should practice in a way to get comfortable with the content that we are going to talk through, and we should make sure that not being over-rehearsed, because there's a fine line between practicing a lot and also trying to remember all the lines that we were memorizing or to try to be organized. So if we over-rehearse, then our presentation gets robotic and also feels so static. In poster presentation especially, we don't want it to happen. We want a very dynamic and active presentation. So we should make sure that we follow this fine line. And also there are other tips in general strategy that we can use in order to have a very smooth day, less stressful day, so we give a better presentation. One is printing in advance. So when we are going to a symposium, better to have our posters printed a week before or some days before. So it's less stressful at the very end or very last moment. Then checking weather is recommended because we can get the proper tube, tube for the poster, and then if the weather is rainy or something, it doesn't damage our poster. It's also important to have our contact information, name, our phone number on the tube because in case we lose our poster, people can find us easily and give it back to us. And then always having a plan B is helpful. Having a backup file of our poster in a flash drive and having emergency printing plan. In case we lose our poster, then we find places that we can print our poster in a couple of hours. So our day is less stressful. Then the day of presentation, it's better we arrive earlier because symposium, when they give you a timeline for your poster presentation, it's actual presentation time. It's not preparation time. So it's better to arrive there earlier and to know which number or which place is assigned to your poster. Or sometimes, symposiums, they don't assign number or any place for your poster. It's, again, good to arrive earlier because you find a good place, actually. It is important, especially when you are presenting in a group, you're 4 or 5 people. So you can find a place that there are enough space, in either sides of your poster, and you can all stay beside your poster, and you don't block the view of your reader. In this way, the readers and the audience feel comfortable to come closer and look at your poster. Then bringing water, because like symposiums are crowded. There are many posters, many people, and also you need to talk loud. So you get dehydrated, and you have to have like a same level of energy till the last minute of your poster, because every time your audiences are different, and you should make sure that everybody who leaves your poster remembers your work and understand it. So staying hydrated can help us to have a good amount of energy. And then bringing some like pen, notepad, it can help us to write down any contact information that we want. As we said, poster sessions are a good place to do networking and exchange like contact information, or if we want to write down any like feedback, any questions, or any ideas. Then dressing well. So we should consider poster sessions as a professional meeting that we are going to talk or meet with our future like employer or potential collaborators. So dressing professionally can help to look better in a like poster presentation. And then usually it's recommended to use poster session as a networking opportunity. Have business cards, having our like information written down, and then QR codes. They're so good because they're free, easy to generate. You can link it to your e-profile, to your website, your CV, any technical information that you want, and then people can get access to it easily and get extra information. Also, you can generate e-profile that upload the JPEG of your poster, any additional references, any novel approaches that you use, so people can have a better understanding of your work. So we have, we prepare well for poster, we have a good poster, and then the day, when we are there, we should make sure that we engage the viewers. It is very important because when we want to generate discussion and have a feedback, then we should have a welcoming posture, we should encourage the discussion and be open to have further discussion. If people need further examples, if they need further information, we should be able to answer them. And elevator pitch can help us a lot, because if we practice in advance how to deliver our scientific message in a short and concise way, then we are able to communicate better in our poster session. And then, again, questions. It's important to handle questions very well. So sometimes we can think of some potential questions and then prepare some potential responses for them. So when people ask about, I don't know, technical approaches or anything like that, then we are more confident how we deliver our message. Time management. So for poster, we don't have an hour to go through our poster. We have few minutes. It's not like oral presentation that we prepare some slides and then go through it for an hour. And during this few minutes, we should be able to deliver our message as clear as possible. So when we are practicing, make sure that we practice on time, and so we always remain in that time constraint. And again, using QR code and our business card information to exchange contact. Again, so thanking our audience, having good communication is important, because yeah, it's correct that we should be welcoming and greet our audience, but also thanking them for their time, for their interest in our work, can create a friendliness and a positive atmosphere. Then I wanted to show you these three important words that people judge poster presentation based on this. One of them is communication, the other is clarity, and the other is commitment to our main findings. So usually when I search in different resources about rubrics, like judging rubrics for posters, I found, for example, this one, which is American Society of Microbiology, I think. These are the characteristics that they assign points for poster presentation, like if the presenter is confident enough and know enough information of their poster, and how they can communicate it easily and clearly. Can they handle questions easily? And then I found another one that is from Mizzou that, again, presenter greets people or handle questions, or again, communication is clear. So it's important to have all these things in mind to have an effective poster presentation. So moving on, we have some day that is smooth. We started to be there earlier. Now we see people that come to our poster and they read our poster. So when we see people coming close to our poster, give them few moments, few seconds to go over our title, the main highlights of our study, and then starting the conversation. We are the person who needs to start the conversation. It's true that there are strangers and it's hard to communicate, but looking at our poster as a main point to talk about is important. One of the things is direct starter. So you give few seconds to your viewers and then say, do you need any additional information? Do you want me to walk you through my poster? So it's a good way to start your conversation. The other way is general starter, you talk generally about the symposium. How are you today? Do you find the symposium good or not? And then another thing is common interest starter. You start talking about, oh, are you also working the same subject? And then you started the conversation. So you continue talking about the subject. And in this way, when you started the conversation, so now it's the time to attract your audience. Now it's time to give a concise overview of your work. So here, it's important to make sure that we tailor our presentation. So poster presentation is different from oral presentation because it should be dynamic, because it depends on our audiences. You might have some audiences that don't have any prior experience in the same subject, so you need to talk more about details, concepts, and you need to make them understand of what are you doing. And some audiences are probably some professors who are working 30 years in the same subject, so they have a comprehensive understanding of your concept, of your technical approaches. So probably they are there to exchange ideas, add more ideas, or have any questions. So being able to tailor our story, giving enough information to each individual, it is very important, and making sure that everybody who is around our poster understands our poster. And to be able to tailor our presentation, we can ask some questions like, are you familiar with this subject? Or have you ever done this technique? So these questions can help us to understand our audience background a bit, and then we can lead the conversation in a better way. And then I saw in different resources that being able to have a storyline for our research is important, because research have shown that people generally remember things better if these things have been delivered to them in a narrative way, in a story way. So usually they say and, but their framework is a good framework to make a story. When you say and, you're going to give general information, background information. You say but is there, you attract and catch the attention of your audience, because you're going to talk about scientific gap that till now science have not discovered this thing. And then your result and your main findings is going to show the conclusion and highlight what you are doing. So in this way, people might remember it better. And then, the presentation style. So we know the presenter is a person who should know different aspects of the topic, should be confident and relaxed, because that person knows better how to present it, since knows a lot of detail about this. And after that, having a sequential order, starting from introduction, method, result, and going to discussion can help us to maintain the storyline and also to be clear and communicate better. And always when we are going in a sequential order, it's better to think of even when we are practicing, when we are getting ready for our presentation, it's better to think of why we are doing our research and what is our future goal, what is our main hypothesis, and what is the technical approach that we are using. So in this way, we are able to understand it better first. Then there's some like general info of like when you start with introduction, like what to say. So first greet your audience and then start going to background information and then say your title and give like the goal, general information about the goal of your project, go over to the method briefly. If you have any like innovative approaches, we should mention that approaches, and then going to results, yeah, like as we were talking last session also, charts, tables, figures, visual content of our poster is there to help us to deliver our message better. So we should use, in the results section, we should use them, point them to clearly communicate our science. And then also mentioning highlight of our like study, like our discussion, it's important. And then here there is just one slide about how to go over charts, because it's important. So these are important part of the poster. So when we are talking about charts, we shouldn't starting in the detail. So we should first say the title. So what is this figure for? What is the hypothesis behind this figure? And then we should make sure that we mention the variables. What is in our x variable? What is in our like y-axis? And then when we introduce our x and y like variables, then we can highlight the key information. If there is any significant trend, if there is any meaningful result that we think is in line with our hypothesis, we should mention it. And then sharing a conclusion at the end. Okay, so this figure means this. So people have a better understanding of all the meanings that we are talking about. All right, so till now we talked how to prepare for the day and how to start our conversation, how to go through different like section of our posters. But there are other important things too that can help us have a better presentation. That is using the body language in a proper way. It can help us to effectively deliver our message. We should use open and confident body language. We should stand tall, our shoulders back, we should face our audiences, and then we don't want to like we should take up space as much as possible to show we are knowledgeable and confident and people can trust us. So we don't want to have our like hands in our pockets or crossing our arms or feet. So we want to take up space. And then using natural gestures, yes, it's true that we should use body language, but we should make sure that we're using in a proper way and like using natural gestures that can complement our words, that can support our ideas. So when we're practicing our talk, maybe it's better to be aware of our body language and then try to make it in line with what we are saying. And maintaining eye contact is another thing that gives positivity, and also friendliness. It gives like attention and confidence, because it's usually recommended to have 50% of time that you're talking, looking at your audience, and also 70% of time when you're listening, also looking at them and maintain this eye contact. So it can just generate positive atmosphere, and you can generate a discussion. Then smiling. Smiling is important because you want to have this networking and find collaborators. So you should use your body language in order to help you. Then another thing is express your excitements, why you are interested in what you're doing, and you can use your vocal range in order to avoid monotone or static presentation. And then, as you should know how to do, how to use your body language, people can also, you can also understand based on the body language of your audiences, how do they feel generally, if they are disinterested or if they are bored. So you can adjust your story based on that. For example, give more information or less information, add additional explanation, change the way you talk or the way that you are delivering your message. So make it more effective. And again, as you're practicing, maybe being aware of what is your body language and if it supports your ideas and reinforce what you're saying. So also there are other like bad habits and big no-nos that we shouldn't do when we are presenting a poster, and this is just to make sure that we are presenting in an effective way. So not overcomplicating. It's true that we have to give enough information for people to understand, but giving lots of detail, lots of technical information and jargon, it can make people like confused and it's hard for them to follow. So enough information for them to understand, but not too detailed. And then neglecting our audience, meaning that sometimes people don't stand on their poster all the time, and like so it's better to stand on the poster as much as possible, because a potential employer or collaborator can't find us if we are not there. So neglecting our audience is another like bad habit. Then another thing is reading directly from poster. We designed our poster to help us to talk better, to guide our like speaking and our presentation. We shouldn't read it directly from it, and it can give us like, it can give the feeling that we are not that confident and this is a monotone and static like presentation. Then overusing some filler words. Like, it's okay to use filler words, but if we use filler words in like excess, then it can like give this feeling that we appear less confident or knowledgeable. And then again, as we were talking, avoiding close body languages can help us to have a better presentation. This is an important point, like that we probably don't pay attention to it. Like when posters are like so crowded and we want to use the charts, we want to use the figures of our poster to like help people to understand, then it's easy for us to like look at our poster and then direct our voice, like project our voice to the poster. So it's hard for people to hear it in that loud environment. So it's good when we describe our poster and then we look back to them and project our voice to them so they can hear them and then they understand. And ignoring time constraints. We shouldn't waste people's time an hour to talk about our poster. There are many posters there and people want to get as much as possible. They want to see different posters. So we should be able to have like our poster presentation in a couple of minutes. And then here I just added a couple of other like checklists that we all talk about. That it's just here for us to make sure how to capture the audience attention. So knowing our audience, and then knowing their background a bit. So maintaining this tailoring of presentation, adjusting our talk, and be clear in the communication, highlighting the main findings. And then also like effective use of time, as we were saying, positive body language, and exchanging information and contact. And then at the end, I here added again the the format of our Pathway Symposium, which is vertical, and the columns shouldn't be more than 36 inches, and it's on March 22nd. And hopefully this information help us to give a better presentation, and I want to thank you all for your attention.
Just a quick note on that template, it's not mandatory. The only thing is that you can't be wider than 36 inches, because that's the size of the poster boards. And then we have two varieties of the template now, in case you want to leave it. Does anybody have any questions for Anna?
So I'm going to copy Joe again from what he asked for last time. Let's say I feel like I'm in this situation a lot where people are walking by, but they're not really engaging in your poster. Would you still try to initiate with someone just passing by if you're not getting much traffic at your poster? Or how forward would you be with trying to engage with people?
Yeah, so I read different resources and articles, but so there's a fine line. They say if like based on the body language of your audience, if you see that they don't make any eye contact with you or they don't come to like any closer to any specific distance to your poster, so it's okay, they're not interested, and then not everybody's interested in your work. Yeah. Or sometimes they say they have some like handbook of the symposium and they have your poster open. It means that they are interested, even maybe they feel shy, they don't come closer, but they are interested based on that poster that is open. So maybe then you can start a conversation. Yeah.
Okay. Enough. All right.
Perfect duration for an elevator pitch? What would you say?
Yeah. I think what we do in our lab is a 30-second version of our poster and then 2 minutes or 3 minutes version of our poster. So we have always preparing 2 versions of 30 seconds and 2 3 minutes. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.